The gavel. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for the Rock Ridge School District, March 28th at 6 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Please turn off or silence all your cell phones or any other devices you may have. I have to turn this on. There's a binder over by the front door on that desk that has materials for tonight's meeting. Meeting agendas are available also at rockridgepublicschools.org. And at this time, will everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do roll call. Matt Solberg.
Here.
Randy Lotiger.
Here.
Tom Tamero.
Here.
Nicole Dahl.
Here.
Bill Addy.
Here.
And Stacy. Yes.
Here.
And Tim Reardon. Let the record show that Polly Sorkin and John Yuhan are not here. We're looking for approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion by Addy, support by Rishi Schultz. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Recognition of visitors and visitors' input. I had 4 people, actually I had 5 people. One of them was a student, and I passed the student on to the appropriate committees. The other people I contacted and told them that we would not be having them on the agenda tonight because it's not an agenda item. So. Okay, consent agenda. We're looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented or amended.
I would move removing 4.6 from the consent agenda for discussion.
Okay,
I'll support that.
and you want to do it before reports, or do you want it?
Right after the consent agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
It'd be before reports, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll be removing 4.6 to discuss before reports. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. .6. Yes, sir.
My only question here, and is assume Superintendent Schmidt is not here,
Correct.
which is unfortunate because I was going to ask him just to confirm that the coaching assignments, once we have a contract, which I think everyone in this room is
Hoping for?
and disappointed in and frustrated in that we don't, but not casting any blame on anyone. But like when we did this in the fall, I don't know that we did this in the winter, but just to confirm that the discrepancies in the coaching assignments between the former Evelyn Gilbert and the former Virginia districts would be made whole once we have the contract.
That is correct.
That was my understanding, and I just wanted to confirm that. Unfortunately, I can't confirm that,
Yeah,
but
that will
let the
happen.
record show that that question was asked.
Very good. Any other discussion on 4.6? Can I have a motion to approve 4.6?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Brandy Lotiger,
I'll support.
support Nicole Culbert Dahl. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Let the record note I abstained for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons. Thank you, Matt. And we have Matt Schulberg abstained. Five point one, dedication, donation, Dr. Willie Speltz.
I think you
Just seeing if you're listening, Willie.
For a first time ever. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. As many of you know, throughout the past couple of years in this role, we have been fortunate enough to receive classroom dedications in memory of, in honor of teachers, coaches, important staff members, community members that matched maybe certain spots in the new high school, new elementary schools. And tonight I have another one that is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this process, and I'm going to talk to you about Mr. Munig. Some of you might remember Mr. Munig. You started some 30-some years ago, like I did. I don't know how that is when I'm 29 years old, but this new math can maybe do that. But Mr. Munig, like I said, it's my honor to share this classroom dedication in memory of Mr. George Munig, a beloved Virginia High School teacher for all of his 31 years at Virginia High School. He started in 1962 and retired in 1993. Mr. Munig was always a favorite, and students couldn't wait to get to his social studies classes. Whether it was in his senior social class or psychology, Mr. Munig was an incredible teacher, and this was because of his ability to make personal relationships with his students. Mr. Munig was a great senior class advisor for so many years at VHS. His guidance in this role positively impacted every senior class he advised. His quick wit and subtle humor made him simply the best. He was a favorite teacher of students in his first year of teaching and was still an absolute favorite in his final year. He made an incredible impact on all of his students. 35 years later, I reached out to a friend of mine, Bill Lundberg, to ask him about Mr. Munig because I can remember in high school Bill talking about him. And Bill was definitely a Republican. I have permission to talk about this with from Bill. So he was definitely a Republican at the time and came from a Republican family. And I remember Bill always saying Mr. Munig didn't like Reagan and his voodoo economics, Reaganomics. So he and Bill would often banter back and forth very well. And it was interesting to even watch them in the hallway kind of give each other a hard time. And Bill finally remembers Mr. Munig saying, when talking about Reaganomics, Mr. Munig would always look at him and say, "Isn't that right, Mr. Lundberg?" Knowing that Bill and his family were all in favor of it, and maybe Mr. Munig wasn't so much at the time. So that's a fun one to remember, and I enjoyed that all the time. So Rockridge Public Schools would like to thank the Munig family for their generous donation to Rockridge in memory of Mr. George Munig. Those members being Marlene Munig, George Munig's wife, Catherine and John Huss. Kathy is Mr. Munig's daughter. Lane and Russell O'Connell. Russell. Lane is Mr. Munig's daughter. Dr. Cameron and Ruth Jason. Cam is one of George's first students and a lifelong friend. And then this one got me, so bear with me. The grandchildren, Kristen Kramer, Aaron O'Connell, Bailey O'Connell, Matthew Huss, and Abigail Huss. The grandchildren, when they heard of this opportunity, collected and organized their own donation and presented it to Grandma Marlene at Christmas. So thank you to the Munich family. Beautiful $10,000 donation in memory of Mr. Munich. So next, we have James Eichholz, and he and I may have crossed information, so he may be at the next meeting. There, no, he is here. Good, James, I just sent you a message. Come on up, James, you're on. We have two great stories for you tonight. I was lucky enough to work with James on some projects, especially this robotics stuff, and we received some donations in the robotics area, so I wanted him to come. And then in a minute, you'll hear from Kyle Hammer. He's going to talk about the DECA, and I was lucky enough to work with Kyle on that with an ethics workshop that he just put on, so I'm glad to have these two people here tonight. It's all yours.
Did you have something you wanted to show on the screen?
Yeah.
Jim, just 1 minute. We should have a motion to accept this donation.
Support.
Director Schultz, second by Director Tamero. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you. Okay, get them hooked up there and
You were gonna get my last name right? No.
well,
She couldn't either.
we said right, you just pronounce it wrong.
Okay.
Last name like I have, I've been mispronounced all my life.
All right, good evening. My name is Mr. Eichholz. For those of you who don't know me, I teach industrial tech here at Virginia High School, Rock Ridge. And I've been the mentor or coach for the robotics team for the last 4 years. And I'd just like to say thanks to all the community members who have supported us over the years and all the hard work from parents and students that have gone into this. It is a tremendous amount of work to build a robot in this intense competition. I have some students here who are going to tell you their side of the story. They've been with me since the beginning, and I'd rather have them tell the story than me. So if the projector's working, I'm going to turn it over to Muddy Koski and Tommy Glissman.
All right. As he said, we're Muddy and Tommy, and we are seniors from the boring robotics team out of Virginia High School. Our team had 8 members this season, and we competed in Duluth at a regional competition that had over 100 different teams from around the Midwest and further out into the country. So this club is mostly student run with the help of Mr. E. And we take about what we do is we participate in the first robotics competition.
So the first robotics competition is, we like to consider it a sport for the young minds of future engineers. And the competition is a national competition where students in grades 9 through 12 design, build, and program industrial-sized robots in, what was it, 6 weeks, right?
6 to 8.
6 to 8 weeks. So each year a new game is created that challenges the student-built robot to complete different tasks such as shooting balls, climbing, and being controlled autonomously, which means without a driver, using a controller to drive it around.
So basically, each year they give us a set of tasks that we need to complete, and that's about it. They don't give any instructions. We have to completely design a robot to complete the tasks within the given parameters. As we started saying, for future engineers, first robotics I've been involved in for the last 3 years, and it's really pushed me towards going into engineering in the future. I'm going to be going to Michigan Tech next fall to be a mechanical engineer. And I probably wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for first robotics.
So what is the competition? So here's a little more about it. The build and designing period, like I said, is 8 weeks long to get ready for the competition. And FRC is a part of the Minnesota State High School League, so it's recognized as an official school sport in the state of Minnesota. So FIRST has an extensive history dating back to the early 90s when the inventor, Dean Kamen, started the original competition. And since then the program has grown to include over 3,800 teams from 34 countries across the world.
Right here on the bottom, we have some pictures from our last season. Here's on the right is our robot. And the goal this year was to drive around and pick up balls and then score them. We spent about 2 weeks, our first 2 weeks of the season, coming up with a design to effectively do this. We went through many different plans. We ended up with a rough idea of this, and we went through a prototyping process, and then we built the final product.
So we use computer-aided design, also known as CAD, to we basically drew a rough structure of this robot on a computer, and then we basically fine-tuned it and made it better as we built it, along with designing different parts or different key components on the robot in CAD, and then we used 3D printers and other forms of technology in the industrial tech department to aid us in building this robot.
On the other side on the left there is our pit. Each team at the competition gets a 10 by 10 foot area that they have to have all their parts and tools in. But then the competition in Duluth every year is a 3-day event where the teams go in to compete and practice and see whose robot functions the best. All the
So we're going to talk a little bit about budgets too. On average, your usual robotics team operates on a consistent budget of around $10,000 per year, and many of them spend a lot more than that. This year we received a donation to buy parts and trailer from the school board itself. Oh, with the help of the school board. Right, sorry. Not from the school board, with the help, my bad.
and other local community organizations and businesses, as well as community members, have been very helpful as well with the team this year and past years. Many local businesses support us through monetary donations and other
forms of donations, such as giving us parts or coming out to help us build it and things like that.
All right.
So I got a question. So your machine, your robot went around and it would pick up balls and then it shoots them?
Yes.
Like in that one basket we saw in the beginning?
Yes,
Correct.
yep.
So what was the task consists of? Because I know First Robotics from when my kid was in it and they
Yeah.
have over. So what was the task this year? There must have been like, was to pick up balls, shoot them, and then you had to climb, and
Yeah,
autonomous?
this year there was about 2.5 minutes. You had to go drive around the field and pick up these balls and then put them into the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, your robot was supposed to climb off the ground.
Yep.
And you would gain more points doing that.
And there was a high goal and there was also a low goal that you had to get balls in. You could pick which one you want to do. Some teams did both. Chose to go for the low goal.
The major part of our designing phase was figuring out how to have our robot most effectively score points. We decided we could most repeatably score in the low goal, so that's what we built and designed our machine to do.
Cool.
And also on the climbing aspect, it was different this year because usually it's just climbing up.
Right.
But this year they actually had you traverse bars like monkey bars, which is pretty challenging with a robot.
It's
So
pretty hard with a.
these
thing
robots
is nearly
weigh
the size
about
of this
100 to
table.
120 pounds, so
Yeah,
they're
for-
not small.
For reference, it's about as big as this table in perimeter and about this high.
Yeah.
Yeah, about this high. And then, like Mr. E said, climbing is pretty difficult when you're trying to move a 120-pound robot 4 feet in the air. So
Super cool. Really neat.
Very good.
Yeah.
I support this.
Yep.
I support this.
Not currently,
Not currently.
however,
although we are open to displaying it if you have any ideas.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Thanks, gang. That was wonderful. Now Kyle Hammer will come up and talk to you about his program of DECA and maybe some other things.
All right, good evening, board members. For those of you who I have not met, my name's Kyle Hammer. I am the business education teacher for Rock Ridge. Thank you and Willie for giving me some time to publicly thank a few individuals and organizations who have been generous with their time and money to help the business education program. It's been a busy and exciting few months for the business education program, and I have lots of people to thank, so I apologize for my length of time. I know Dr. Nelson did touch on a few of the things that I will mention at your last meeting, but again, I think they deserve to be publicly thanked. And while thanking them, I will provide a brief description of what they have provided us with and to try and help answer any questions you might have. As Willie mentioned and Dr. Nelson mentioned at your last meeting, I hosted a day-long ethics workshop for around 40 Rock Ridge students at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. The students were primarily seniors with the exception of a few underclassmen, and they were identified by 2 or more staff members as emerging leaders. The event was facilitated by Dr. Jason Skiri of the Ethics and Business Law Department for the University of St. Thomas. The event was a success with primarily positive feedback from both students and facilitators. Wanted to come and give a huge thank you to the Iron Range Rotary Club for their tremendous donation of $3,000 to help cover costs of the day. In addition to thanking them for their donation, I want to thank Rotarians Cassandra Haney, Marge McPeak, Rosalind Barker, Deborah Warner, Scott Osbach, Eric Peterson, and Joe Yuhan for attending the event and helping facilitate some of the discussions that took place during the day. Joe Yuhan was my point of contact with the Rotary and was extremely helpful and supportive as we worked out the details together. In addition, I would also like to thank Jim Mikowski of the Eveleth Super 8 and Virginia American for donating the overnight stay for Dr. Skiri. Lastly, for the ethics workshop, I would like to thank social studies teacher Amy Krebs for helping me at the event and for being a great sounding board during the planning process. It sounds like this will become an annual event. Next, on March 14th and 15th, the Iron Range Tourism Bureau came into my introduction to business class on both campuses and provided training for students to become certified tourism ambassadors or CTAs for the Iron Range. To quote their website, this is an industry recognized certification that drives visitor spending through in-depth knowledge of the tourism product, gives destinations a competitive advantage, and strategically aligns stakeholders to deliver a positive brand experience. The program went over the history of the Iron Range and highlights what makes our area so unique and desirable to tourists, while emphasizing the importance of customer service. Following the program, students were given an exam to test their knowledge, and all 25 students that partook passed, and thus are now certified tourism ambassadors and are able to list this on their resume, job, and college applications. I would like to thank Beth Pierce, again, Jim Mikowski, Cesar Ortega, and James Pointer from the Tourism Bureau for facilitating the program. And again, thank you to Jim Mikowski of the Super 8 and American as he covered the costs of program registration. I also have a few thank yous to give regarding our Rock Ridge DECA program. For those unfamiliar, the description Dr. Nelson gave you is what I'm going to read you as well. It's a career and technical student organization with more than 225,000 members in all 50 states as well as internationally. Students are tested on their expertise in specific marketing career areas, as well as on their poise, professionalism, and ability to handle difficult marketing and human relations situations. Competitors develop comprehensive marketing proposals and advertising campaigns and business plans. In order to join DECA, students have to have taken my marketing strategies or advanced marketing course, which prepares them for competition. This was the first year that we have had this in any of the previous Rock Ridge school districts, and I was happy to take 7 students to St. Cloud for the District 5 Career Development Conference on February 2nd. Of the 7 students, 6 of them qualified to advance to the State Career Development Conference in Minneapolis over March 6th through the 8th, where they competed to advance to the International Career Development Conference hosted in April in Atlanta, Georgia. While we didn't have any competitors advance to the international level this year, Raleigh Seppala did place in the top 25 students on his 100-question Business Administration Core exam. I would like to thank the Golden Bear Foundation for their generous donation of $500 to help cover student meals during the state competition. Lastly, I would like to thank former Evelyn Gilbert business teacher Lori Osmondson, social studies teacher Amy Krebs, Chris Ismail of the IRRB, and Aaron Terrio of Miners National Bank for being willing to be the board of directors for the Rockridge Emerging Leader Booster Club that we are in the process of creating as a 501c3 nonprofit. Setting up this booster club will allow us to receive grants and donations that will directly benefit business education programming moving forward. And then thank you to Miners National Bank President John Hull for providing me with some guidance on this process. Looking forward, starting at the end of the week, we have representatives from Northern Community Credit Union providing instruction throughout the fourth quarter to my personal finance class. So a thank you in advance to Trina Hoff and her staff at NCCU. I feel like this is all a testament to the community's commitment to participating in the education of our students, and it's very exciting. Unless you have any questions, thank you for your time. Questions?
Questions?
Sounds like a lot of coordination. You did a great job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Been busy, but good. Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you. Item 5.4, the Evelyn Gilbert boys basketball team. Rather than put this on the consent agenda, we thought we would pull it out and have it here. For the third year in a row, the team has won the Minnesota Basketball Coaches Association Team Academic Section Championship for the highest accumulated GPA. So congratulations again to the Evelyn Gilbert boys basketball team. Very good. Is Adam here tonight? No. Okay.
Here comes trouble.
Here comes trouble. Parkview Principal, Sheena.
Good evening, board members, and thank you for taking the time tonight to let me come. I feel like I haven't been here forever talking to you as the principal, but lots of things going on at Parkview. Our February I Love to Read month was a huge success in many ways. Our students celebrated the theme, Join the Pack, Stay on Track. We tried to go with the Wolverine theme. Each kid in their classroom set goals, and we had like a weekly thing where they could earn, first it was a movie day. Then the second week they could earn popcorn from the movie theater. We bought garbage bags full of popcorn from the movie theater. And then they could earn a drink to go with it, and then they got a candy. So it was almost like the full meal theater deal, let me tell you. So the kids had a good time with that, with I Love to Read. And I really do have to give kudos to the Parkview teachers in this, because through the month of February, when we really focus on that reading, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a data person and I love looking at the numbers. And when I looked at the numbers today for my Parkview teachers in particular, I should say students, because they're the ones that were the ones that working hard, but the teachers really made a difference. If I look at the average growth in our student body from September until March, we just tested now in the past couple weeks, it was about an 82 point scale score growth. And the average growth between January to March, so over that February I Love to Read month, was about a 35 point gain. So almost half of our gain came within that month of I Love to Read month. So getting rolling with those kids. So that was a nice thing to see. So I give kudos to my teachers and the students for working really hard at that. This Thursday, I have the Ned Show coming. The Ned Show it's coming virtually to us. It has come in the past in person, but this year it's coming to us virtually. It's a character education program that uses Ned, the lovable cartoon character whose name stands for never give up, encourage others, and do your best. So he's coming to us, I should say, to teach the students and he uses yo-yos and magic tricks to kind of motivate and encourage, inspire those students to become champions at school and in life. So part of that Ned Show is that they have yo-yos that they put for sale if kids want to purchase them or students want to purchase them. And any proceeds that we get don't go to us, but this show comes to us for free because some other school has put on this show. So whatever proceeds we get from selling the yo-yos go to put on this show in another school. So it's kind of like the passing it forward or moving it forward. So kindergarten and pre-K registration is in full swing. That has been going on through the month of March here. We tried all online this year. Of course, we've hit our bumps in the road and had a few problems. So we've had parents contact us. We're doing our best to field all those questions and get that. But online registration has been going. We know it's working because we've had kids register. So we're trying that, but in full swing. So if you know any pre-K kids or kindergartners that need to register either for Laurentian or for Parkview, send them our way. Title I, we have a family engagement night coming up at the end of April. I won't be here before then, so I'm bringing it up. This is for all Title I in Rockridge, so that's Laurentian, Nelshin, I should say Franklin, Nelshin, because it's not Laurentian quite yet. Franklin, Nelshin, Roosevelt, and Parkview, but we're all coming together at the new Laurentian to do a family engagement night for all of our Title I families. So we're hoping to have the games, raffles, food for all the families that choose to join us for that. The two more things I have, Ninja Anywhere. We have our Parkview PTA that is bringing Ninja Anywhere to our Parkview for all of our students. And that's like an outside with a trailer and they'll set up stuff in the parking lot, but they have a ninja course that they're going to set up for all of our kids. And so we have that going on right at the beginning of May, and the PTA paid for an extra hour so that the staff could do it too. So we have that coming. And the last thing that we found out today is the Northland grant has given us, I know Shannon Cush wrote a grant, we got $5,000 for the wraparound care that we run on Fridays for our pre-K students. So we received another $5,000 thanks to the Northland Foundation.
Fantastic.
Questions for me?
Questions?
Perfect.
It's fun. Yeah, the ninja. My son's going to be super excited about that.
I think my staff is more excited than some of the kids. But yeah.
Yeah. It could be a fundraiser, sell tickets.
It could be. It could
Watch.
Yeah, so, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheena. And on to administrative items. Noel is not here this evening. Consider modifying the school calendar for teachers who are moving from one building to another at the end of this year, 2001 and 2022. And Brandy, do you want to?
Looking back at my notes.
Okay.
We talked about this at the meet and confer, and I think they come back for just a couple of days after like Memorial Day. And so we had talked about maybe just letting them, teachers who have to move, not have students that those last like 2.5 days. That would help.
Able to pack up and get ready because they need all those materials and things in their classrooms through the end of the school year. It's a little more laid back at the end of the week, and I think it would be beneficial. We've heard all year long that they're, we've gotten emails that they don't feel they have enough time to pack up, and Wednesdays are not working for packing up things. And again, they have to use their materials. They're still teaching kids. So I support it.
I support it as well. Hearing directly from the teachers, I don't think it's an unreasonable request.
Yeah.
Have you heard from any parents about daycare? That's the only I've heard. I don't know how this got out, but that's another couple days we're going to pay for it. And
I haven't had.
How many kids is that involved from your building, Sheena? All of them?
No, it would just be the road.
Cars are closed.
None.
Well, not Sheena, excuse me.
We're not moving.
Willie, you got an idea over at Roosevelt?
How many kids are there?
Yeah.
I think if anything, it would maybe just be like third. I mean, I would think fourth, For sure, 5th and 6th graders could stay home for,
3 through 6 in Roseville.
I think at age 8, funny, I know this because I'm an 8-year-old, but at age 8, they can stay home for a couple hours by themselves. So that's actually in 2nd grade. So this is 3rd grade through 6th.
Well, they just offered that class today. Were your kids involved in that?
What was that?
An after-school class today, staying at home?
No, I
3-year-olds?
wasn't, no, they weren't involved with that.
Move to approve 6.1.
Support.
Motion by Director Addy, support by Director Lotiger, was it?
Yep.
Just to clarify, so it's the teachers that are affected by the move.
basically, just the teachers from Roosevelt that'll be the ones packing up their stuff and
And then the Franklin going to the new pension.
and Franklin too, or
I'm
no.
just wondering, so it's 2.5 days, is that correct?
Well, because they come back on that Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they've got a half day on the last day.
It's a full day last day.
Oh, is it?
So I found my notes.
Okay.
Found my notes. So, the kids wouldn't come back after Memorial Day, just for those buildings that are moving. And the teachers had said that they're packing an hour here and there, and they can't pack, again, because they're using their rooms. They're only getting about 1 hour per month to do that. Let's see. They were having to make a choice between going to the Laurentian and seeing classrooms and things like that. They were having to make a choice between that and I think some packing, going to the Laurentian or packing, one or the other, and people want to see what their rooms are. See, they asked if they could have 2 days to pack for the elementary. Teachers are feeling anxious. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So
I support it.
logistically, the way this has to work, which I can see, Roosevelt's going to the Franklin is going to the Laurentian, the Nellsheen, half of those, two grades of those are going to the Laurentian, and those 2 grades are going back to the high school. So it's going to affect more than just one building.
No, it affects 3 buildings.
And the discussion also was, because people were saying, well, what about the high school kids and all that, and having to go 3 days longer or whatever. Well, eventually, they're going to need to, have the same accommodation made for them as well. So it would equal out. And, I understand what your comment is, Tom, like about, adding 3 more days on to their,
It's actually 2.
or whatever, to their daycare bill. But if we're giving them time now to prepare for that, those kids that have to be in daycare most likely are setting up daycare for the whole summer. So they would be able to have ample time to make arrangements to have that happen, those extra days.
So if I understand this correct, May 31st, June 1st, and Thursday, June 2nd, is that a half a day?
My notes.
Full day, okay. Sheena says it's full day.
So.
Is that fine with you, Mr. Addy?
It's fine. I can't see this move done in a couple hours.
That's fine with you,
Brandon? Days to make this happen. There's a lot of moving parts to going from one building to another and taking that, it just, I feel you need lots of time.
And Brandy, I brought that up because the public says we don't hear them. We do, but.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
I just say, I'm supportive of this. I just wish Dr. Schmidt was here, and maybe a silly question that might even be out of order, but does anyone know where he is tonight?
That interview.
I talked to him today, so.
Oh, I don't know. I
spoke to him.
It's on the agenda. That must have come up pretty quick.
Okay, is there any other discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion to give the teachers in the 3 buildings, May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd off for moving, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Six point two.
And just so that's clear, it's just for the ones that are moving buildings.
Correct.
So high school, yeah.
6.2 is a resolution. What it is under state law, after school districts with election districts must either confirm its election districts are evenly populated and contiguous or redefine the boundaries. And this must be done by April 26th of this year. However, there is another portion of the statute which provides that consolidated districts may have an orderly transition plan, which Rock Ridge does have, to transition from election districts at large elections. Here, the district has a plan, and it provides us to get down to 7 at-large seats effective January 1st, 2025. Therefore, the district transition plan is in compliance with the state law. Unfortunately, the legislature failed to exempt consolidated districts with transitions plans from the requirement to either confirm the election districts and define the boundaries. So what we're going to do tonight is pass a resolution of our district's transition plan for the current election, so it conforms to state law.
So, well,
The plan that we started with
okay.
2 years ago, went from 13 down to 9. Yeah.
This year, we're going from 7 or 9 to 7.
Correct.
Okay, and in those 3 that are up on the Evelyn Gilbert side and the 3 that are up on the Virginia side still will remain as, they'll still remain as, well, 3 are up, only 2 get elected from Virginia side, 3 up on the Gilbert side, and only 2 will get elected on the Evelyn Gilbert side. That is still in play, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And then in 2025, everyone becomes at large.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll move to support this.
I have a motion by Director Addy,
Second, support.
support by Director Lotiger. Is there any discussion?
If you could just clarify why we're having to do this, the Department of Education approved the plan.
The state legislature didn't put it into the statute, so we have to do this. And we'll have to do it, I would imagine, unless they change the statute to reflect that we already have a plan. We'll probably have to do it again in 2024 for the 25 year. Okay, this is a roll call.
Did that give you the answer?
Is that fine?
Hoops.
I got a good enough answer.
No, we're not changing anything. We just.
No, I get that.
Yeah, okay. Is there any other questions? Roll call vote. Director Schultz?
Yes.
Director Addy?
Yes.
Director Dahl?
Yes.
Director Tamero?
Yes.
Director Lotiger?
Yes.
Director Schulberg? Yes. And the chair votes yes. It's unanimous, 7-0. Very good, thank you. 6.3, consider approval of the purchase agreement between Rock Ridge Schools and the City of Evelyn for property located at 401 Roosevelt Avenue, Evelyn. It's the old junior high lots.
Support.
Motion by Tom, support by Bill. Is there any discussion?
Just to clarify that this is in line with the agreement that the district has with the city of Evelyn. The property was appraised. We're satisfied with the appraised value of the property, and we're selling it to the city for full market value.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? So we have a motion by Director Tamero, second by Director Addy. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 6.4, consider approval of the proposed seniority MOU between Education Minnesota Rock Ridge, Local 7394, and Independent School District 2909, Rock Ridge School District concerning a merger seniority list.
I'll support.
Motion by Director Addy,
Support.
support by Director Schultz. If you remember, we approved this at the last meeting. It went back to the teachers. They found a couple changes that had to be made, so that's why we're doing it again tonight, just so that everyone knows that. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Consider approval of the agreement between Rock Ridge Public Schools and the Rock Ridge Principals Association 2021 through 2023.
I'll move.
A motion by
Support.
Director Addy, support by Director Tamero. Is there any discussion?
What, compared to the bargaining units that have previously settled, I assume the economic cost on a per unit basis would be consistent. Is that true?
Correct. This is, I talked to Spencer on this. It comes out at 4.62%.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Item 6.6, consider approval of the Rock Ridge Principal Seniority List 2021-22.
So moved.
We have a motion by Director Tamero, second by Director Schultz. Is there any discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Meeting announcements. Okay. The next regular school board meeting will be held on April 11th at 6 p.m. here at the Administration Building. We will now be going into a closed session. After the closed session, we will come back out and may take up what we discussed in the closed session. We will be doing no other business. So I would like a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Director Lotiger, second by Director Tamero. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I would like to thank all the teachers here for coming in, and I look forward to meeting with your negotiating team on Wednesday morning to get a contract together. I do.
Okay, it is.
I can't drive.
It is 7:06. I'd like a motion to go back into regular session.
I'll make the motion. Support.
So we have a motion by Director Schultz, support by Director Lotiger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
For coming back into the.
Was that on the?
No, that's just going back in. Okay. So we've heard the attorney tell us what this separation agreement is. Is there a motion to go ahead and approve it?
I'll move.
Motion by Director Addy,
Support.
support by Director Schultz. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and one abstention.
Not opposed.
Oh,
I voted no.
oh, you voted no, I'm sorry. Matt voted no. We have Schultz, Addy, Reardon, Lotiger voting yes. And Tom Tamero.
First time he's ever gotten it right.
He abstained. I'm looking for I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening. A motion by Tom Tamero, support by Director Lotiger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Let it be known that we at 7:08. Thank you all.